Mm,
It's on.
uh, yeah, I think it's on. Let's
Copper
see.
said, "It's my birthday, y'all. It's my birthday.
Yeah, it's Copper's birthday.
He's 1 year old today. Yay! Big
Oh,
boy."
yeah, there it go. It is live.
Tell him, Copper, the baby's not going to be fully grown in 1 year. It's your daddy. Tell him, it's your daddy's birthday. Give me a birthday kiss. Right on my nose.
Something kind of odd. I've got this on my Facebook, and then I've got it on my I've got it pulled up so I can see it like on my phone and stuff too.
Oh. Are you talking?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
it's like a big delay.
Oh, Facebook Live?
Yeah, there's a delay between what I see on my phone and what I see pulled up on my computer.
Copper says, "Can't wait for cake and ice cream later for my birthday." Yeah, Copper, you're not a Myrtle Beach girl, so you don't get to have your birthday all week and all month.
Yeah, you can't have a birthday month,
Yeah, you're just a simple dog. You get
Just a
one
simple
birthday
dog.
day, a celebration. Yeah, just one day.
He's so upset about it, isn't he?
Yeah, he said he wanted to go on vacation and go sit on the beach.
Well, poor guy. Poor guy. He's just having a regular puppy birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, got people logging on. Hey, Derek. Hey, Michelle. No, I was just giving a few minutes here. I started a little bit early so people could log in and kind of see stuff. And we were talking about Copper turns 1 today, so it's his first birthday. So we've been trying to figure out where to get him a puppy cake. So because he's gonna have a puppy cake, he's gonna have cake and ice cream for his first birthday. Man, I hadn't used Facebook Live in a couple of weeks, and they've got a fun look to put your to put a mask on. I don't want to do a mask though. That's weird.
Oh yeah, those are weird because you gotta push it and it comes on, but then you gotta push again to take it off.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. It's weird.
More masks going.
That's weird. I just didn't want to look like I was dying, from this allergy thing I've got going on.
So you wanted to wear a mask?
No, I just didn't want to look like I was dying. When I first got up, it looked like somebody punched me in my eye. It was so red and swollen and stuff. Oh yeah, Michelle, that is yeah, puppy cake's probably going to be trouble. I can see that happening. And so I tell you what, let's give 2 or 3 minutes, let a few more people log on here, then we'll get started.
Go tell your
I mean, today we're gonna talk about follow up. I mean, I see that's like one of the biggest problems of the industry. So if you have questions, if you have things that you want to talk about and stuff, just post your comments and stuff. I'm more than happy to answer any question for anybody.
Go tell your daddy. Copper said he wants a peanut butter banana pup cake.
Oh,
That sounds delicious, Copper.
good for him.
Peanut butter and banana? That sounds good. Yeah, buddy. Making his mouth water. Here, I'm gonna get him a bone. That way he won't whine so much. I think he wants to gotta sign his place.
Yeah.
But I've gotta go to the office too.
Oh, believe me, he likes the idea of puppy cake. He would eat a dozen cupcakes if we'd let him. He's 100 pounds. Typically, when I do a Facebook Live, he wants to be on camera. He wants to be all over me. So it's just a matter of time before he jumps up my lap. Aaron reminded me. I forgot. I prepared, but I kind of forgot about it. And Aaron messaged me like an hour ago and said, "Hey man, we got an hour for your Facebook Live." So I was putting it together, and yeah,
He loves that
I was
phone.
excited. So hey guys, so let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to talk about with you guys is follow up. You know, I talk about a lot of lead sources. My group's real estate agents that really work, and I started that group because I was kind of tired of seeing things in the industry that were, I was tired of seeing agents getting charged for like basic training stuff that I felt like their offices should be providing for them. You know, simple things like setting goals, prospecting, just simple sales stuff. And so I started about 6 or 7 months ago. It should break. It might be over 8,000 right now. It's like right at 8,000, like a little bit earlier. So, and what I talk about in the group a lot is what I'm doing that's working in my business. I pretty consistently take about 12 to 15 listings a month. I talk about lead sources I'm using that's working, things I'm doing that's working. But the biggest thing that I see happening is that agents, they make the initial call, and the initial call is important, but what's more important than the initial call is the follow-up. So, you think of your pipeline as a funnel, and at the very, very top of that funnel, that's all your new calls, and that's the people you're dumping in. Now, you're steady dumping in people, but to get them through the funnel and to get them actually come out the other end, what you got to do is follow up. So I was looking at the calls I'm making, and I was talking to a lot of agents, and I realized that, some weeks, like this week, I set 4 listing appointments, and the thing was, I didn't really call any new people. What I did was I called old people that I'd been talking to and stuff. So first thing is, what really is follow-up, because I don't think a lot of agents understand that. And follow-up is just educating your prospects. It's nurturing those relationships. It's maintaining ongoing contact. It's building relationships with those people. After you've had 8, 10 conversations with them on the phone, you've talked to them about their home, you've talked to them about what their problem is, and that's the thing. Most of these people, the reason why they're wanting to sell their house is because they have a problem and they think selling their house is going to fix that problem for them. And that's where we come in. And hopefully, sometimes we're not really real estate salesmen. We're just really problem solvers. But you want to provide constant long-term value. You want to stay top of mind. I mean, believe me, if you're not following up with your potential listings, your potential buyers, there's somebody else that is. But two, with your follow-up, what you want to do is you want to differentiate yourself from the competition. Because chances are, I got some statistics here I'll go down through with you. And these are sales statistics. I got them from Grant Cardone. I know he got them from somewhere else, but 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. And think about that. I mean, I've been guilty of that. Everybody's been guilty of it, but 25% of salespeople, they'll make a second contact, and then that's where they stop. They're like, oh, I left 2 messages for him, didn't get a call back, guess he isn't interested. And the thing is, everybody gets busy. Like even me, I use ZBuyer, and Eva Langley is the person that the sales rep I talked to. Eva probably made 15 follow-up calls with me before she actually, I didn't want to sign up for it. The problem was, man, she just called me and I'd just be busy. And the thing was, it benefited my business because I'll take a listing or 2 a week from that. But 12% of salespeople only make like 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts, is what this says. Okay, now this is where things get interesting in these statistics. 2% of salespeople, only 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Now, and these are general sales statistics. I think real estate's probably lower than this. You think like if you call and you actually talk to 100 expireds and 100 for sale by owners, only 2% of those people are going to set an appointment with you today. Now, These are sales statistics for a big range of the industry. I'd say in the real estate business, it's probably less than that. If you call and get 100 expireds on the phone today, maybe you'll have 1% that actually set an appointment with you today. Now, here's the thing, though. Out of that 100 people you talk to, you might have 10 that are like, you had a meaningful conversation with you. Today's not a good day, but, hey, you couldn't set an appointment, but you got their email address. You're going to send them your pre-listing package and stuff like that. So only 3% of sales are made on the second contact. On the third contact, there's only 5% of sales. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. And here's the kicker. Here's the thing that should be eye-opening to everybody. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So when I started really calling and I really started breaking down my system and looking at things, what I realized that I needed to do almost immediately was I need to just go ahead and get it in my mind. When I get a new lead, when I get a new for sale by owner, when I get a new expired that's like in my little area I work in, when I get somebody that tells me they want to sell their house, I just need to go ahead and wrap my head around it that I'm going to follow up with these people 10 to 12 times. I'm going to make 10 to 12 touches before they ever list their home with me and do business with me. Chet Holmes said in his book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, he said that, now for you guys that don't know who Chet Holmes is, he's the guy that ran companies for Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. He was the sales manager that designed sales systems. And he said in all their research and all the companies they owned, it took 7 to 8 contacts with a person before they purchased a luxury item. Now, guys, we sell a luxury item. I mean, real estate is the most expensive investments and stuff most people will ever make. It's the most expensive item your clients will ever purchase. So if that's not luxury, I don't know what else is. So, and he said that across all their companies, it was 7 to 8 contacts with a person. Okay, so if you're only making like 1 call to that person, you're only making 2 calls. Say you're subscribed to ZBuyer, you're making 2 calls to your ZBuyer person, and you're going, they didn't call me back, something's wrong. The problem isn't that there's something wrong with that person. The problem is there's something wrong with your follow-up. So what I told Aaron I would talk about today is I want to talk about 10 ways you can follow up. Okay, my scripts are pretty easy. You can get them from jasonmorrisprelistingpackage.com, and you can get a copy of my pre-listing package. If you guys don't have a pre-listing package you're sending out, then you're really missing out on business, because the key is 99 out of 100 agents in your market have nothing that they can send somebody talking about the products and services they offer. And the thing about real estate is, this really helped me when I learned this and wrapped my head around it, is we're not selling houses. What we're selling is we're selling a service that sells houses. And it just so happens we get paid based on the performance of that service. So you need to look at what you're offering people, and you need to put it in a short, easy to understand thing that you can send people. And what I do, I've got a 10 or 12 page PDF. You can download the template and stuff. And if you got a pre-listing package that's 40, 50 pages long, you need to think about yourself. When somebody sends you a 40 to 50 page pre-listing package, or a 40 to 50 page PDF on anything, even if it's something you're really interested in, do you even look at it? I mean, for me, man, I pull it up, I see it's 50 pages long, and I go, oh, I'll look at it later or something. And I never look at it because I'm not going to read 50, 60 pages on my laptop. It's a PDF. And all your sellers are that way too, so your pre-listing package needs to be short. So here, we'll get into these. We'll talk a little bit, then we'll have plenty of time for questions and stuff. So here's 10 ways I follow up. Number 1, I send my pre-listing package to every single person that I have any type of meaningful conversation with about selling their house. If we talk, my line that, 99% of the time works is, hey, Mr. Seller, look, I'd like to give you some more information. I'd like to send you some information on me and my team and what we do to sell houses. What's your email address? And most of them just respond like almost immediately with an email address. And once you get that, you send your pre-listing package to them. And then as soon as my pre-listing package is sent, as soon as I press send, I pull up my cell phone and I send them a text. And it just says something simple like, hey, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. I just sent you a pre-listing package. I want to make sure you received it and you can open the PDF file. Let me know if you don't have it. And then typically, almost all texts are read. Almost all texts are read. They might not be responded to, but they're read. So you guys need to remember that. If you're not texting your clients, you need to add text to your client, or you need to add text to the way you're following up with people. Now, for you guys that are texting and you're sending video text, here's the problem you're having. Look at the demographics of what you're selling and look at your area of your marketplace. Most of my clients, I would say, are 45, 50 plus. Every now and then I'll work with somebody that's 25, 30, but the demographics of my market and my sales it's an older generation. Okay. And they may not have a cell phone that allows them to see video text. I'll be honest with you, I probably never got more than 10 or 12 video text. If I got one today, I might not know how to deal with it, So if you're sending video text and you're not getting responses to them, it's probably because the people you're sending them to don't know how to open them up. But simple text. Everybody texts. My grandma texts. So, number 2, the next day after I send my listing, after I send my pre-listing package, I've talked to them. I try to call them and I try to follow up around the same time that I made the initial call to them. Because normally, if I talk to them at 9 o'clock in the morning, normally their schedule is set up so that they're going to be home at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And they're probably going to be home the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I try to call at the same time. And I just use a simple script that just says, hey, good morning or good afternoon. Hey, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. I just wanted to make sure you got my email yesterday and want to see if you had any questions about it. Then, I always close by, hey, when do you want to get your home on the market? When would you like for me to start working for you? I never talk about listing their house because for whatever reason in our industry, the idea of listing your home has become a bad word. And honestly, it's really slang term. It's really slang industry term anyway. So, I never talk about that. I always talk about when you want me to start working for you and when you want to get your home on the market, because those are the most important things. I never talk about, I think I can sell your house. I can sell your house and I can get you the price you're looking for. And you want to be very clear when you talk to them and when you say that. You want to speak with confidence. So I follow up the next day with a phone call. So number 3, after a few days, a week, I hadn't heard from them. I've had that meaningful conversation. I've sent them my pre-listing package. I hadn't heard from them in a couple of days. They didn't want me to come out when I talked to them on Tuesday. I usually wait about 2 or 3 days. I follow up again. And, it's something really simple, too. Hey, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. We talked on Tuesday. I want to see if you sold your home. Do you have anybody looking at it? When do you want me to start working for you? So I keep following up. That first week is pretty crucial. That first week, I'll follow up with them 2 or 3 times, between initial call, the initial text, then call 2 or 3 days later. So, number 4, I like to follow up too with people, with my leads when something sells in the area or neighborhood. So, or better yet, when my office sells something. So I take it, I look. One of the ways I follow up a lot is, say, if I've got a house on Main Street, I'll pull a radius of like a mile or 2 miles, because chances are they're going to know where that street is down the road. So then I follow up with them and I go, hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris. I wanted to call you. We talked about 2 weeks ago. And since we talked, I wanted to tell you 3 homes have went under contract in your area. There's a lot of buyers looking, and I really don't want you to miss out on anybody. I got some time tomorrow. I can stop by like at 4 o'clock. Does that work for you? Don't try to list on the phone. What you're going to list with is you're going to list with your sales process and following up and stuff. You're not going to get the listing package signed on the phone most of the time, So I like to follow up when stuff sells around the neighborhood. Number 5, I love to follow up before holidays and when people are going to be off of work. So let's say, I find that these are the best times for me to follow up. And let's use, for example, 4th of July. 4th of July, it's next week. It's falling on a Friday. A lot of people are going to have a 3-day weekend or whatever it is. follow up and say, hey, Mr. Seller, we talked last week, or we talked a few times last month. 4th of July is next week. There's going to be a lot of people off work, and there's going to be a lot of people in the area looking at homes. I don't want you to miss out on a potential buyer. I can make some time for you on Tuesday, or I can make some time for you on Thursday to get your home in the market. What time would work for you? I find that following up around holidays works tremendously well. I'll tell you, my follow-up right now for February is fantastic, and you guys can all steal this. What I'm doing is I'm following up with people, and I'm going, hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris from eXp Realty. I just wanted to talk to you about your home. Have you sold it yet? And chances are they're going to tell you no. And I go, well, Mr. Seller, look, a lot of stuff happens in February, and I really want to talk to you about this. Do you know what happens in February? And chances are they're going to tell you no. And then that way it leaves you open for you can tell them. Well, in February, what happens is people start getting their income tax returns back. And that buyer, that's first-time home buyer, or person that might be looking at your house, what happens if they're saving up for a down payment? All of a sudden, they're going to have that down payment. Or if they're saving up for moving cost or whatever it is, dealing with buying a house or moving, they're going to have that money in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So they're looking right now. January and February are 2 of the biggest home search months of the year. I don't want you to miss any of these potential buyers and stuff that are looking today. Can I come by on Friday at 4 o'clock? Would that work for you to get your home on the market? And every follow-up call, you need to try to close. You try to close for an appointment on every call. If you're not closing on the appointments, or you're not trying to close, or you're not attempting to close, the people aren't going to just jump out of nowhere and just go, hey, Jason, come over Friday. They're not going to do that. And if you're leaving them open saying, well, what's a good time for you for me to come? They're going to say, I've got to get back to you. Oh, I got to look at my schedule and call you back. And they never will call you back. So what you need to do is you need to dictate the times in your schedule that you can be at their house, right? Because here's the thing, we're a professional, and we're the most important people in the transaction, I believe. Well, I believe that most of the time. We're the professional in the transaction, at least. You don't call your dentist and say, hey, I was hoping that you could work me in tomorrow. You call your dentist, and they tell you what times you can come and see them. You call an attorney, and they tell you what times that you can come see them. The attorney that tells you, hey, Jason, come on down to my office, in 15 minutes and I can see you. It's probably not the attorney you want to use because they're not real good, because they don't have a lot of clients, So you need to tell them what time you can come out to their house. Be very direct and stuff. Number 6, I call this one, I'm going to be in your area follow-up. You need to be very direct and very aggressively assertive when you tell people this. You say, hey, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. We've talked a few times about getting your home on the market. I'm going to be in your area on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Will you guys be home around then? And just wait and let them answer. If they tell you no, then you go try to close a second time. Well, I'm going to be there Tuesday. I'm also going to be there. Hang on just a second. Let me look at my schedule. I'm also going to be there Thursday morning. Will Thursday morning work for you? And you need to be very aggressively assertive and very direct. This is the time I will be there. And now I use this a lot. Like, say I've already got an appointment somewhere. So I look at all my leads and see what leads I've got in that same area. That way I can call those people and try to set an appointment while I'm already out there, while I'm already in their area. So, and that works really, really well for me. But you have to be real aggressive. You have to be real assertive. And you have to be very confident. If you're picking up the phone and you're scared to talk to them and you're scared to be real direct and real assertive, then you're going to let them take control of the conversation. And the problem is going to be they're not going to set an appointment with you. They're going to go, oh, I'm not going to be home. And you always want to have a fallback day too. So if you can't set it on Tuesday, you can come on Thursday. So number 7, I do email follow-up regularly too. And I really try to be aggressive on these. My typical email script is usually this is my follow-up after a month or so after following up. I can't get them on the phone, whatever it is. I send something real simple. It says, hey, Mr. Seller, we talked back in May about putting your home on the market. Since we talked, my office has sold X number of properties. I want to get your house on this list. A lot of these properties sold in X number of days because our marketing works. I'm going to be in your area next week. Call me and when's a good time to call you and we can set up a time, or call me and let's set up a time. Go back through. These are for the people you've been following up with for like 90, 120 days, 6 months. They're just kind of jerking you around. They're not setting an appointment with you. Send this email to them. Say, I'm going to be in your area. Since we talked, we sold this many houses. If you're at a small office, though, you need to spin this a little bit. If you're at a small office that hadn't sold much, you need to say, since we've talked in your area, X number of homes have sold. They've sold in this time. Our office does a lot of marketing. Our marketing works. Here's a copy of my pre-listing package. This is what we do to sell homes. I'll be in your area next week. So send that email and be very aggressive about it. So number 8, if you're at that small office and you guys only sell one house in the last 90 days, or you only close one house in the next 90 days, you need to be aggressive. You need to talk more about your market and stuff than what you're doing. But number 8, every now and then I have leads that I just have not heard from. They hadn't responded. They hadn't done anything. They hadn't responded to me. We've had a meaningful conversation. We talked about selling their home. They seem to like me. They got my pre-listing package. We followed up on it. Now all of a sudden they're just avoiding me. I like to send a simple text. It says something like this. Hey, do you still want to sell your house on Main Street? I always put the address in your text because if I send this to 10 people, I want to make sure when they respond, I know who's actually responded. But or if they call, I actually know who's calling. But just a simple text, just a couple of lines that just says, hey, do you still want to sell your home? You won't believe how many people you'll get responses from. Number 10. I am just a master at creating creative ways to follow up. And this is one thing that you got to do is you got to get real creative with your follow-up. But I like to use the information I got from the previous calls. Now, this is why your CRM has a notes section, and this is why I use a notebook and stuff. I'm actually developing an app for follow-up stuff too, but if you're interested in my app, you can go to jasonmorrisfollowupmaster.net and sign up for it, and I'll email you as soon as it's released. But I like to probe for information, on that initial call, I like to ask things, age of the roof, why are you selling, how soon do you want to sell, things like that. And I like to write down that information. If they're moving for a job, if they're moving for, whatever the situation is, a job, they're downsizing, they're upsizing, they're behind on payments, they're moving sideways, they want to move to another community, they're moving to be closer to their grandkids, whatever it is. I like to write down that information, and I like to follow up based on that information they gave me. So if they say things like here's a great example. We're having a baby in July, and it's due July 2nd. So you'll see a lot of grandparents, they're moving so they can be closer to that grandkid. So they're saying, hey, the baby's due in July. I want to be there. And they tell you this on the phone. Hey, I'm moving. I want to move back to New York so I can be closer to my grandchild. And you say, oh, well, that's great. Well, when's it going to be born? They tell you July. You count back and you say, hey, well, it's going to take 45 to 60 days to close your house. So that means it's February now. If it's going to be sold in July, we got to have a contract by, we got to have a contract really by April to get you there in time. So I like to follow up based on that. Just, hey, Mr. Seller, you told me that you got this going on and it's happening in July. It's going to take 60 days from the date we get a contract to close your house conservatively. So I want you to be able to move there in that time, and I'm calling you because we need to get your house on the market because, houses are typically going under contract in 30 to 60 days, and then it's going to take 30 to 60 days to close. Man, we need to get your house on the market here in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be out there at this time for you to, I'm going to be out there in your area this time. Will that work for you? follow up based on the information they gave you, because that's pretty powerful. If they're getting transferred in 30 days because of a job, that person is seriously motivated. You need to be calling that person 2, 3, 4 times a week. And you need to remind them of this. Hey, I know your job's transferring you, and you got to be there by March 1st. Hey, look, I don't want you to have to pay many mortgage payments on this house. You told me you got a mortgage and you can't afford to, mortgage here and rent or something there. What are you going to do? Why don't, what's the problem? Why don't you want me to start working for you? You need to follow up based on the information I gave you. And here's number 10. Number 10 is one of my favorite ones. I like to follow up with people. And I give them a call and I just go, hey, Mr. Seller. Hey, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. Look, I was out in your area the other day and I thought about you. How are things going with selling your house? Then you just wait and you listen to them talk. And then you ask, so look here, are you ready for me to start working for you? And are you ready for me to come out and start working for you? Now, none of these things I've given you, they're set. None of them are set in stone. You don't have to follow them word for word. Modify them to fit your needs. But the key to this is you guys need to follow up like a machine. You need to constantly be in contact with your hot leads, and that's one of the reasons. The most successful thing I've actually used for follow up has been a spiral notebook. Because a lot of CRMs are in the CRM that's really perfected the hot lead yet. You put it in your CRM. Well, you also got 5,000 other people in your CRM too. And, hey, it falls down to the bottom. You click no on an alert, and next thing you know, you've lost that person. And 3 months later, you remember them, you call them back, you see on MLS that the thing's been sold for 30 days, and you lost however much money you lost. But in my market, the average sale is $150,000. So it drives me crazy to look at somebody that, hey, I didn't get to list their house and I didn't sell it, and I lost $4,500 because I did not follow up. So you gotta build that mindset too, that every time you don't follow up with somebody and another agent lists it because you didn't follow up, you lost money. So this app that I'm creating, what it is basically you put your top lead daily. You can follow up twice a week. You can follow up weekly. Notifies you on your phone, and you can call, you can text, you can email right there from the app, and then it automatically logs it for you, so you're not thinking, man, when did I follow up with Mr. Johnson? Or I need to follow up with Mr. Johnson. What's going on with him? So guys, what kind of questions do you guys have? What kind of questions do you have for me? Just go ahead and ask them there. I'll be glad to answer them. How are things going up with your follow-up? Do you have any problems with setting appointments? You have any problems with the lead sources you have? Hey, Michelle, the biggest problem I'm finding is that I'm getting going on the appointment and failing to ask the right question. Michelle, the right question is when do you want to start working for me? Or when do you want me to start working for you? One thing I learned in my listing appointments, and this is I've been guilty of this, and when I learned not to do this was the thing that really was like an aha moment for me. So I would go to these appointments. I would sit there, we would talk about, their mom and their dad and their kids and the college they were going to and what the Carolina Gamecocks were doing last weekend. And everybody would absolutely love me. They'd invite me to dinner. They wanted to take me fishing or whatever it was. And then they would go list their house with another realtor. And the thing I learned that was at most appointments, what was happening was I was overstaying my welcome. I'd end up staying, an hour and a half talking to them about nothing. I started really scripting out my actual appointments and listing appointments. So when I started doing that, things got a lot easier and I started closing more. So I go in, I tour the property, I sit down. They've already got my net sheet. They've already got my pre-listing package. They already know what I'm doing. My brief thing is, hey, Mr. Seller, we market two different ways. We market to the general public, then we market to other realtors to get your home sold. You got my pre-listing package, right? So you've seen everything we do. Do you have any questions about it? Great. And then I immediately go, hey, I brought everything to get started. I go down through my active pricing strategy. I talk about my active pricing strategy at jasonmorrisfisbomaster.com. It's linked to the YouTube playlist. But I go down through my active pricing strategy. I go down through my net sheet. And then I say, hey, when are you ready for me to start working for you? If they say we're not ready to start today, I ask, why not? Okay, why not? What's your holdup? I mean, I'm here, you're here, you want to sell your house. I sell houses. I don't tell them that, but that's my mindset, I'm ready to get started. When are you ready to get started? So, but you need to go through that process and you need to close them, and I think you got to ask those closing questions and you need to keep talking as if you're already working for them, and that's the best way to go. So Ingrid, how do I keep in touch with past clients? Past clients, I think the best way to keep in touch with them is Facebook. You can log into Facebook, keep up with what's going on in their life. You can send them a message every once in a while. Hey, how's things going? How's the new puppy you got? How's the new whatever? Click like on their stuff. I think Facebook's a fantastic system for following up and keeping in contact with past clients and just reminding them, hey, I'm here. I still sell real estate. Derek, how do you manage a multitude of leads that need to be followed up with? What CRM are you using to keep track? Well, here's the thing, Derek, that I think's kind of crazy is, okay, you got a lot of leads. Like, I use REHH. Actually, I use Onyx. They sent me this shirt the other day. So REHH, I use REHH Onyx. They've got Vortex, and what it is their CRM for expireds and stuff. So I go through there and I siphon off the best leads, the people I'm having meaningful conversations with. I have multiple levels to my funnel. So not everybody goes to stage 2, So the buyer that don't have good credit, you should put them on your list to do a bulk email out to them at some point. The buyer that has a 700 credit score and they got to move next week because, their lease is ending, that's the person you want to follow up with a lot, and that's the person that you want to put in your notebook, you want to put on the app that I'm developing. That's the person you want to keep up with. A lot of agents think, hey, I got 5,000 leads. These are fantastic. Well, here's the thing. It's 5,000 leads. A lot of times those 5,000 leads suck. There's only, when you really get down to it, may only be, 50 to 100 people, 1 to 2% that you actually want to follow up with, like on a daily, weekly, bi-weekly type basis, All of your leads don't deserve to be followed up with every day. Only the ones that you think are going to do business in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Those are the people you need to keep up with. You almost need to look at your leads as being disposable. If they're not looking to do business in the next 30, 60 days, that's the one that goes on a drip. That's the one that goes in your conversion account. That's the one that goes on the email auto sender or whatever. You maybe follow up with them once a month with a personalized email, but the people that you're following up with, and the people I'm talking about following up with, these are your A buyers. The people that they've got motivation to buy or sell, and they're probably going to do business with you because hopefully they liked you. So I don't know if that answers your question. Michelle, you got to close. If you're not going to ask them, hey, when do you want me to start working for you? When do you want to get your house on the market? They're not going to voluntarily go, hey, Michelle, your hair looked really nice today. Let me list my house with you. They're not going to close themselves. You're going to have to close them, and you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable to start closing these people. And that's the key. A lot of the stuff we do, like, man, sometimes I'm not comfortable going to people's houses. A lot of this allergy I got going on is because I'm allergic to cats. And I went in a house. That's what started it. I went in a house and the cat, I felt like it was killing me. But you have to get comfortable being in those uncomfortable situations and asking those uncomfortable things. You're pretty much at a job interview. And you want to ask them, hey, when do you want me to start working for you? So I use REHH. I do use it as a CRM. and I do use the follow-up function. What I started doing though was when I started using Onyx about 6 months ago. Onyx is a premium source, and you get a lot more leads. And what happens is I get so many numbers for the expireds. Like say a typical service, like I don't know, Vulcan 7 or Land Voice. You might have 10 expired, and you might get numbers for 2 or 3 of those. And out of those 2 or 3, 1 or 2 would be right. With Onyx, if you got 10 expireds, you'll get numbers for 9 of them. And out of those 9, you'll have 4 or 5 that's right. So, you might have more than that depending on how much you call and follow up, but you get a lot more, you get a lot better numbers, you get a lot better data. So what that's led me to do is I've had to scale down the area I'm actually prospecting in to actually focus on the areas and the property types and stuff I want to work with, because I'm not your agent typically to sell $1 million home. Because in my market there's not $1 million market really. So what I done was I scaled down. I use Vortex to funnel the leads and the areas out that I really want to work on and I really want to focus on, and those are the people I focus on. I've got a mentality in this idea that rather than focus on 5,000 like bad leads, we should narrow that down and focus on 100 or 200 really good leads. Instead of sending one mediocre mail piece to 5,000 people, what if we sent a really good mail piece to 100 people, that we know want to sell, that we know are in the areas that we work in, and we know this is the property type that we want to work with, or that we know we've actually talked to those people and they do want to do something soon, So, so that's kind of how I'm using that. That's how I use Onyx. And if you tell them I sent you, they'll waive the $150 setup fee. I think Onyx is $250 for the package where you get expireds for sale by owners, you get a dialer, and you get Onyx with it. So and you get emails with that. With Onyx you get emails. With the regular REHH service you don't, Roy. So with Onyx you do, but it costs you about $100 more than the other service. But it's worth $100, man. You'll get a lot more people on the phone. A lot of the emails too, I find that if the guy's name is John Smith, you'll at least have an email that'll be might be John Smith 123, but you'll have an email that looks like it could possibly be there. So I haven't done as much with the emails as what I probably should be doing, but you do get emails. Michelle, I have 2 types of listing appointments where they say, "Hey, Michelle, list my house," and then the other ones where they're like, "Yeah, you're great, but we're just going to think about it." You should just ask them, "Hey, well, that's great. What you want to think about? What are you going to think about? I can help you with today." Because if you're not going to ask them what they need to think about, then you're just never going to know. And it could be something that, hey, they want to, I find a lot of sellers, they put a sign up, and I'm in South Carolina, I'm near Myrtle Beach, so we get a lot of people from New York, New Jersey, they're coming down here buying second homes. And what happened was, hey, they got a call from somebody last week, or they got a call from somebody, a month ago that said, "Hey, I want to see your house when I come down." That person's never going to buy their house. They're not pre-qualified. They're probably not ever going to come look at it or anything, but for whatever reason, that seller thinks this person is a real buyer. And you just need to ask, what do you want to think about? What's your reservation? What's stopping you from getting your house on the market today? So how do I deal with just curious prospects? I have a ton of sellers opting into my ads, but they just can't seem to get out of the just curious phase. Well, if you're doing the market evaluation ads, that's the problem with those. A lot of people, they're clicking on the ad, it's costing you money, but they're clicking on your ad and they're saying, "Hey, I just like to know what my house is worth." A great way to follow up with those people and talk to them on the phone is to go, "Hey, Tom, this is Jason Morris from eXp Realty. Seen you filled out the market evaluation ad. Let me ask you guys thinking about selling your house?" And if they tell you yes, so what's a price you guys would be willing to sell for? Just come right out and ask it. What's a price you guys would be willing to sell for? Because sometimes, the market's steady changing. So some of these people, the price they got in mind, the market's changed so much in the last 6 months, that might not be a bad price, You just have to ask, what is what's the price you'd be willing to sell for? Now, the just curious, the lookers and stuff, that's the thing with the market evaluations that are kind of rough. You're spending, man, I've heard agents get them anywhere from $2 a lead to, got $12, $15 a lead. And you just got to go through those. And those, if you're doing Facebook ads, one thing you're going to find is you'll get a lot of leads really cheap, but a lot of times those leads are fairly low quality. I mean, right now I think I'm getting registrations using conversion on my Facebook business page. I'm getting them for like 5 and 10 cents a click most days. But we may have 100 people register, and there may be one person that's actually like really interested in buying a house, and they're really interested. They can actually afford to buy one. So that's one of the problems with Facebook ads right now. So, what other questions do you guys have? Oh man, this isn't apple shine. This is a mason jar, but this is Mio. This is Mio and water, Derek. Yeah, at this point, if I'd been drinking apple shine, I would be passed out on you guys probably. So that's one thing I've kind of learned too. Like a lot of agents, the reason why they can't be successful and they can't really get to that next level in the business is because they have some kind of crazy habit. If it's alcohol, if I drink the night before, man, it's I can't make calls the next day. But Michelle, do you find that when going on an appointment, people care about the company name? I don't think people care about company anymore. I think I'm with eXp Realty, and it's all in how you pitch your company. I mean, eXp Realty, we're a technology company. We're publicly traded. We're in 42 states, all this stuff. But relatively outside of the real estate industry, not a lot of people know who we are. I believe that I don't buy into the brand thing anymore. I don't think that a brand hurts you, but I don't think the general public really cares, who you're with. You could be with eXp, Keller Williams, REMAX. I don't think it really matters. I think they're working with you because of you. This is the biggest transaction they ever made. They've ever made if they're buying or selling. They're working with you because they trust you and they feel like whatever you're doing is going to help them. What you do need to find is your niche. You need to. I think you need to be with a company. I think you need to be with a company that's growing, has a positive atmosphere, has tools. They're actually trying to help their agents do things, and I think you need to be with a company too that's gonna pay you what you're worth, because our job is hard. And at this point in the industry, we're not deciding. We should not be deciding. We should be looking at it like, oh my God, so and so is willing to hire me. We should be looking at, hey, I'm working with them and I'm partnering them because I want to take my business there, or they're offering me the tools to get where I want to be. And I've seen a lot of great agents that were, 50-50 splits, and I don't want this to be an EXP pitch or anything like that. Man, and they're struggling financially. They're doing a lot of business, but the company, they're working for it and bringing them anything. If they would switch companies, they get a 20-30% raise on day one with the opportunity to cap. The 6 or 8% franchise fee you're paying, when you really look at what you're getting for it, you're probably not getting anything. So I don't think company really matters anymore. It may matter some for the agent, just your agent mindset, but I think you can be at a very small company, and I think you can do a ton of business. The problem, though, that I have seen in the past with small companies is sometimes they got an agent that's all of a sudden they're a new agent. They go from doing 5 deals their first year to doing 25, 30, 40 deals, and then you see the owner of the company going, hey, I need to get a little more Jason's money. I'm going to provide Jason with a website now, but instead of him getting, 70%, I want him to get 65 or something like that. So, I'm not a big believer in jumping around from companies either, because every time you change, you got to get new signs, you got to get new cards, you got to get new everything. And it takes you a while to make that changeover and stuff and get your business back up and going and get your pipeline back full, And I think you should be at a company too that allows you to take your listings and your business with you. Maybe not the pending contracts, but those listings. The state law says they're the broker's listings. However, you're the guy that spent the money, you're the guy that did the marketing, you're the guy that done the work. So I think you just need to look for your company's unique advantage in your marketplace. I mean, mine is we do all the same thing that traditional brokers do. We do all the same thing a traditional brokerage does, but I work for a technology company that understands that hey, people aren't picking up the newspaper anymore to buy a house. They're picking up their cell phone. They're picking up their laptop. They're logging on their tablet after they eat dinner at night to look at homes. Newspaper ads don't matter. Honestly, not 100% sure a sign matters anymore if the house is at the back of the neighborhood. I mean, I get sign calls, and those are great leads, but for your average buyer out there, there's not a lot of real data on how many people are buying from signs. So what other questions do you guys have? I could go on and on about my theories of brokers and franchises for all day. You guys have any follow-up questions? Any problems you're having getting listing appointments? Any problems you have setting listing appointments? Michelle, that was yeah. I switched back in August, and I had a little bit of a changeover period and stuff, and signs, paperwork. Paperwork for me is always a big deal because I'm never where I should be on my paperwork. I'm always backed up with paperwork. Signs wasn't that big of a deal. I just kind of said, hey, I'm going to take these 5 signs out when I go out in that area to another listing appointment. Pull one up, stick another one in the yard. That was it. But signs. They're always a painful thing. But I order signs like 50 at a time. I've got a bunch of frames just from being in the business, and I just ordered inserts, so it wasn't a big deal. But now I'm at a point where I ordered my sign that just would work for me at the minute, so I could get it done real quick. Now I'm looking at it and going, man, I want different stuff on my sign. Man, I forgot I should have added this, or I should have made my website different, or whatever it is. So cool, guys. We got a few more minutes here. What other questions do you guys have? I often feel like shit over where I'm at. And Michelle, I often feel like shit over where I'm at with paperwork-wise, time-wise, signs, just to crunch on the small things. In my market, what I've learned is the small things like signs, lock boxes. Lock boxes, man, a lot of times I use the combination ones because in my market, even though we have the E-key and stuff, a lot of agents just don't have the E-key. We got 4,000 agents, and a lot of them are part-time and stuff, and so I usually use private lock boxes on a lot of mine. And I just go on eBay and I order like 20 of them at a time. Signs, I went ahead and ordered 50 inserts when I changed companies. I went ahead and ordered like 20 sign frames, so I got plenty of signs. I don't have to worry about that. Paperwork, you just got to have a system that's easy. Where you just throw it on your scanner, push scan, it automatically scans to your computer, and you email it in. I mean, we're using SkySlope. I know a lot of people use Dot Loop. You just got to set up. You got to set up so it's really easy. But with time and stuff, one thing I find is that a lot of agents will spend so much time working on shit that's really not important. Like flyer boxes. What I found with flyer boxes was the kids in the neighborhood would steal them. I used to would sell my client on putting a flyer box in their yard. And then when that flyer box went empty, I had to deal with, so many calls from them about the box being empty. So then I'd end up spending a day out of the week running around, filling up all my flyer boxes with stuff. So, I feel like the flyer boxes, anything that's unnecessary, I just don't do. Like if it isn't something, I've got a good attorney that handles my closing stuff. They handle all the steps. I put it in Google, put things in Google Calendar. And paperwork, I mean, I kind of forgot about this thing, but I scheduled like time to do paperwork today, and fortunately I did, so I've got time to do this with you guys. But paperwork, what you have to do is you have to schedule it and stuff. So, that's it, man. I live by my Google Calendar. So, Nikki, do I follow up with past clients? Finding it difficult to find reasons to contact them. How often should I contact them after the first month after closing? I'm a big fan of Facebook and using Facebook for contacting my sphere of influence and stuff. There's clients. I've got some clients that are fantastic that I follow up with regularly. I got some that, honestly, they may never hear from me again. I feel like phone calls are kind of crazy nowadays because everybody's so busy. You might want to follow up with a text. Just say, hey, I was thinking about you guys. How's things going? And you don't have to follow up like every month, or you don't have to follow up every week. You can follow up like every couple of months. Facebook's great, for keeping up with clients because, they're seeing your stuff you post, you're posting about your life, and next thing you know, they feel like they're part of your life. I have people that call me or they text me sometimes about something I put on Facebook that's just, I think it's hilarious, but because, sometimes I forget, like, I have so many Facebook friends and so many people pay attention to what I'm posting, but I think you should do it with social media. I think just send them a message every now and then. Hey, I was thinking about you guys. How's things going? Look through their Facebook timeline if you see where they had a new baby or a new puppy, or they tried out some restaurant last week. They tagged themselves in. Just message them and say, hey, John, how was, I seen where you guys went to Bistro, whatever. How was the food there? Oh, great, man. How's things going? Hey, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell a house, let me know. I'm happy to help them. So stuff like that, just make it easy. Don't make it difficult. There's a lot of like 8x8, 32 touch programs and stuff like that out there. I mean, honestly, they, they're kind of overkill, So what other questions do you guys have? So guys, I tell you what, we're right at, just under an hour right now, so I'll wrap things up. Hey guys, I got a great new app that's coming out. If you want to be on the list, it's going to be released here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. It's a follow-up app. You can go to jasonmorrisfollowupmaster.net. You can sign up on the wait list. I'll contact you as soon as it comes out so you can download it and start getting working on it. It should be something, if you actually use it, you'll never forget about a client, and you'll never forget about following up with your hot clients anyway, your hot leads, So, guys, my group's real estate agents that really work. I do a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. My whole for sale by owner system is on YouTube outlining. I give it away. A lot of the stuff I do, I'm giving away. I do a lot of work with REHH. I'm a huge REHH fan. If you're thinking about lead systems, REHH is fantastic. It's a great, and if you tell them Jason Morris sent you, they'll waive the sign-up fees. They'll waive sign-up fees. They've got a lot of package deals and stuff like that. Also, I'm a big fan of Z-Buyer. I probably get 1 to 2 listings a week if you tell them I sent you. They've got some great deals and stuff there they can get you. But guys, if I can help you, hit me up on Facebook. I am looking for some agents to work with me in some select markets and stuff. I'm not doing any one-on-one coaching or anything like that, but I am looking for agents in select markets. If you think you want to work with me or you think I can help you in your business, just hit me up on Facebook and we'll set up a time to talk. And guys, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope that this Facebook Live helped you. I really appreciate Aaron letting me do it today, and thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.